know the show must go on. And far Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised arms, closed fists, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the Brits at, Cincinnati Red Tag. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I know I'm completely being drowned out. There it is. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. What's up? How are you? What's up? Good morning. Welcome back to the last honest place in America, the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed to be men. And, of course, sucker MCs get dealt with. If you would like to test the limits of a dangerous force, 513-873-7134. Good morning. We made it. December 9th, 2019. We made it, y'all. We made it. Good morning to you. How is everybody? I'll wait as people come into the chop shop and then get connected to the stream. Good morning. Welcome to the show. And there it is. How about that? Somebody said, turn it up, Nate. There it is. Can you hear me now? Hey, good morning, everybody. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? Good to see you. What's up, Eb G? Miss Tiffany, what's up? We all made it. I am so glad that you're here. Come on in. We made it. Another day. Another week. What are your plans for the week? Well, I hope you're successful, whatever you have planned. It's going to be a power week for you, starting out nice and early. How many people have been up since 5 a.m.? Raise your hand. You've been up since 5 a.m. If you've been working, strategizing, plotting, 2020 is around the corner. You don't wait till January. It starts now, right? Good morning to you. Glad you're here. Thank you for tuning into the show. You could be anywhere in the World Wide Web, but you're here with me this morning. For those that might be finding the show for the first time, because that does happen, actually. We are live on Spreaker and live on TuneIn and live on YouTube. All of those platforms allow you to be people to find you for the first time. They can put in a search and put in the tag or let's say they tag numerous things, Cincinnati Media or Black Talk Radio. You can come on the Nathan Ivey Show. This is a daily digital show based in Cincinnati. And we talk people, politics, and pleasure. And you are welcome. You can subscribe to the show on Spreaker, and you may or may not get a notification. Or just talk with somebody. If you subscribe on YouTube, you will get a notification. Yes, you can listen to the show and also watch the show when we broadcast a live stream on YouTube. But if you want to go on YouTube, you're on YouTube, that's just better for you. You can listen to the entire show. Now, the difference is that if you're on YouTube and you're not on Spreaker, well, then you won't be able to interact with the choppers. I can see one day in the future where I think that we'll always keep the Spreaker thing, but I can see one day in the future where we merge the two audiences, all the audiences into one. Because we have folks that listen on TuneIn. There's about 200 people that subscribe to the show on TuneIn. And they have their own little chat system, which I'm never there. I'm not. I'm just being real. It's true. So when you hear me talking about the choppers in our chat room, we're talking about the chat room associated with the Spreaker show. And to get access, you have to go over to Spreaker, Spreaker, and you can subscribe to the show, Nathan Ivey Show. You'll see a picture of me and some of my travels, some of the folks I've met. And you can just click on I think it says it reads chat. Click on chat. You can also download the Spreaker app and access the show and all the other shows. Not only this show can you listen to on Spreaker, you can listen to the Donnie B show on Spreaker. Speaking of which, Donnie B's got a very interesting guest coming up, not this Friday, but next Friday. There's a brand new book and documentary that was put out, like a short film, that was called The Trayvon Martin Hoax. And the author of that book and director of that film will be her guest in about 2 weeks, not this Friday, but next Friday. Yeah, his name is, I believe, Jim Gilbert. So that should be very interesting. And he's got this whole theory about how basically this whole Trayvon Martin case was nothing but a hoax. And apparently he's got the goods. So I want to tease that. Coming up this week, you got the Cutting Through the BS podcast. That's going to be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you like independent media, this might be your flavor. The dynamic duo of Fast Pitch and also Clue Magic. They give their various cuts on current events, local issues. They are Cincinnati based. If you can hear the sound of my voice when you go to Spreaker, not only should you subscribe to Nathan Ivey Show, but also subscribe to Sin Digital Media, CIN Digital Media, Cincinnati Digital Media. And you can subscribe to all the various podcasts, the Truth to Power podcast hosted by the NAACP, and the Is It Just Me podcast hosted by Donnie B. That's on Fridays at 12:30 p.m. And of course, this show is a daily digital show. I go live every morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Cutting Through the BS podcast. The Hot Mic podcast hosted by myself and also a member of City Council, PG Sittenfeld. Got to catch up with PG. It's been a minute. And the Dope Chicks Collective podcast. I mean, for anybody, it's hosted by all black women, which is fabulous. But I think for anyone who has ever looked inside themselves and wonder, like, why do I do the things I do? And as you get older, you want to become more mature and become a better version of yourself. How you do that is introspective. Looking inside yourself. That's a very interesting podcast. The Dope Chicks Collective. They're on YouTube as well. Please find and subscribe them on Spreaker. You can subscribe to all those podcasts. And if you want to watch the podcast, you can go to Facebook and check them out as well, if you're not already doing so. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Let me see here. So, again, the various ways that you can interact with the show this morning. Now, we talk about local issues, of course, because I'm based in Cincinnati. So if you're based in Cincinnati, then you're probably going to get a lot of insight because we talk about where you live. But that doesn't stop us from talking about things that are happening nationally, globally. I mean, this show is a daily digital show, not only in the delivery, but also the focus. And that is the focus. So you'll hear numerous conversations. Now, if you're on Facebook, you can also go to something called the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show. That's a Facebook group where a lot of the choppers will post things and we interact. I can't see everything. All of you are producers of this show. All of you are producers of this show. It has been that way from day one. And on a daily basis, you might offer something that becomes something that we talk about. It can happen just like that. Happens all the time. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. If you'd like to call into the show this morning, you are always welcome. You're always welcome. And I want to talk about numerous things. I want to talk about, the fact that I think that Doug Evans should go to jail. Doug Evans is a white male who it looks as if the FBI, he's on trial right now. We've yet to see, been convicted, but we've yet to see whether he's going to get prison time or probation. And I'd hate to see him get probation because it sends the message that what he did was so small. And essentially, Evans Landscaping, the owner of that is Doug Evans. And basically a jury convicted him of basically minority contracting fraud. And a federal judge has set a date of January the 7th to sentence him. But there's a big article, people talking about here locally about what kind of time he should get. I think he should go to jail. Because what we're not talking about and what we haven't calculated is the harm that's done when that happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was some minority, a real minority-owned contract that didn't get the contract because Doug Evans was greedy, basically. And so not only is it, him being greedy, but he's impacting minority businesses, right? I think that's a serious crime. And I think they should send a message of just how serious it is by letting him go to jail for a little time. I think he should get the maximum, 5 years. Why not? I think he should get the maximum fines and the maximum amount of time. Yeah, that's what I think. The jury convicted Evans and his vice president of operations, Jim Bailey, of 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 3 counts of wire fraud after a month-long trial ended on December 10th, 2018. 4 former Evans employees pleaded guilty in the scheme. They testified that fraudulent invoices, checks, and photos were created to make Ergon Site Construction seem like a legitimate minority-owned business. So here they are swindling minority-owned businesses. Here they are retarding the growth of minority-owned businesses. Yet another level of hurdles that a minority business had to deal with is a fake, really majority-owned, but posing as a minority-owned company so they can get minority contracts. I think they should send a message that this is a crime that should not be tolerated in our modern-day society. That's what I think. And Evans' attorney has argued in court, get this, that Doug Evans should not be sent to prison because all of the contracts that he did them on time and, didn't go over. So because he did good work, his lawyer is saying that he shouldn't do jail time. But that's not the point. The point is that you're in the way once again and stealing from some truly minority-owned companies, right? That's what the issue is. I mean, okay, you got the work done on time. Great. That's the very least you could have done. If you really had any give a damn, you wouldn't have been stealing from these other companies in the same industry competing for these contracts. That would have been a true test of your heart. But Doug Evans didn't give a damn about these black-owned businesses. He didn't care about these minority-owned businesses. I'm saying black, but minority is more than just black, obviously. That's why I've been trying to say minority. I think this is a huge problem, and the way you deal with that is you hit him with a lot of time. Now, what do you think's going to happen to Doug Evans? I think he's probably going to get a slap on the wrist, and I say that just because it's just, I don't know. My cynicism, history, and just what I'm not hearing out there in terms of the media. But what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Prosecutors argue that the fraud cost the government $2.86 million. The values of the contracts that Evans received through a shell company set up to win work that should have gone to minority-owned contractors. But whatever, I haven't seen the calculation of it. But what is the impact to the minority-owned companies, the truly minority-owned companies that were competing for the contracts and didn't get it? That's what's incalculable. Did they have to lay people off? Did they have to close their doors? Was this the difference between the owner of the business and his family, right? A righteously minority, his or her family, minority-owned business. Was this a difference in a lifestyle change for that family? I don't know. I think the cost is probably much bigger than the $2.86 million. That's what I say. You never know, because we don't follow that kind of the story. You never know what didn't happen, basically. And the jurors came back real quick, man, 4 hours. Found him and the company guilty. And you want to know why there is a wealth gap in the Cincinnati area. To what degree, and again, this is something that you never know what you never know, but I'm just wondering here, like, to what degree is just straight up fraud and just straight up criminal behavior that just goes, unchecked, have to do with the schism in terms of wealth in the greater Cincinnati area? Because this ain't the first time this been happening. He just got caught. And that's only because we're this more modern society. But you go back 20, 30 years ago, of course, before they had those kind of provisions. But yeah, I'm looking at, somebody told me that all is good at Doug Evans Landscaping. They still up making business, trucks coming in and out. Someone told me that in a chop shop. I'm not sure. I can't remember who it was. But I think this is significant. Prosecutors accuse Evans of creating a front company, Ergon, E-R-G-O-N. And he used a black man, because they always use a brother. He used a black IT employee, Corey Jordan, as a figurehead to win millions of dollars in minority and small business demolition jobs from the city of Cincinnati and the state of Ohio. So he was directly taking money out of the mouths of babies, basically. That's what he was doing. He was taking money off of the table of these minority-owned companies, right? And I'm sure that the people of these companies have children. This man was doing this greed. This straight up greed. But he had to do it to build his business. He's a hardworking man from humble beginnings. He started spreading mulch. And now he has 250 employees. Oh, please don't put us in jail. All we did was harm black people. I'm sorry. All we did was harm minorities. Of course, that can be white females as well. We understand that. I'd like to know the demographics. And again, maybe this came out in the trial. I'd like to know the demographics of, like, the companies that came in second in the bidding process. You know what I'm saying? Because then we better directly know what companies was impacted and who was impacted by yet another example of greed. Just straight up greed. I mean, damn. Maybe you don't have a company with 250 employees. Maybe you can only afford to have a company with 75 employees. But for the fact that you had, a front company. What do you think about this brother, Corey Jordan? We haven't mentioned his name in a while. I mean, here you are working with Doug Evans. He comes to you with a proposition so you can make a little bit more money. Do you roll with it? Would you feel like you cheating minority-owned companies? Just a hard-working man who started spreading mulch as a teenager out the back of a pickup. I grew my business to 250 people. I had to sustain, he said. I had to keep. All these people are counting on me. Well, the same thing with minority-owned companies. Same thing with black-owned businesses. They got a lot of people counting them too. And the nerve. This man needs to go to jail. Anything less than 5 years is a travesty, period. Send a message locally, regionally, that this kind of fraud will not be tolerated. That's what I think they should do. But what do you think? All right, I want you to think about it a little bit. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, come back and rock. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. I'm live. I'm local, and I'm vocal.
Urban Report. I'm Donna Wilson. Daniel Halpern is the co-founder and CEO of Jackmont Hospitality, an Atlanta-based restaurant management company. He owns and operates 37 TGI Fridays and other independent concept restaurants. Blackbusiness.com reports the company recorded over $170 million in revenue and was named Franchise Group of the Year at the annual TGI Fridays Global Business Conference. Meanwhile, congratulations going out to another business leader of color. Calvin Butler, the CEO of Baltimore Gas and Electric, was recently appointed Executive VP and CEO of Exelon Utilities. In his role, Butler will oversee the company's 6 local gas and electric companies located in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Delaware, D.C., and New Jersey. That's your Bloomberg Urban Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
I am Charlie Winburn with Renew Community Church. I am pleased to announce the free Train the Trainer Masterclass coming to Cincinnati on Thursday, December the 19th, sponsored by Walker Funeral Home and Lamar. The Masterclass will train people just like you, as well as parents, teachers, physicians, youth workers, nurses, and mentors on how to develop better skills to save our kids from pipeline to prison, bullying, reduce gun violence, homicide, suicides, domestic violence, and drug abuse. The Train the Trainer Masterclass, 5 p.m. doors open with a business connection. 6 to 7 p.m. free dinner reception. 7 p.m. Train the Trainer Masterclass. Free Comfsy lotion for everyone. Renew Community Church, 2129 West North Bend Road in College Hill. Register at the door December the 19th or sign up for the free Train the Trainer Masterclass at SundayConnectCircle.org. That's SundayConnectCircle.org. Get your free Train the Trainer Masterclass flyer in the Cincinnati Herald. I am Charlie Winburn with Renew Community Church. Are you struggling with something right now in your life that no matter how hard you work on that struggle, it just never seems to go away? A health challenge, a mental challenge, a financial or relationship struggle. Did you know that 100% of your current struggles are due to what negatively happened to you from birth to 7 years of age? Did you know that there is something that you could do about this struggle? Let us help you rewrite your life, along with 200 other leaders that I plan to train in this life-changing masterclass. Sign up today for the free Train the Trainer Masterclass, being held on Thursday, December the 19th at Renew Community Church. Food and refreshments will be served. Go to SundayConnectCircle.org and sign up for free. That's SundayConnectCircle.org and sign up for the free Train the Trainer Masterclass.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mama. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that.
everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. There it is. How are you? Welcome back. It's the Nathan Ivy Show, live, local, and vocal. Welcome back. It's a beautiful place where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed to be men. And, of course, sucker MCs get dealt with. Now, I've been saying for some length of time, in fact, I believe this, that we need good people to be a part of our police force. We need good people to police our streets. I mean, me personally, I'm in favor, as I live in Cincinnati, that if you are a Cincinnati police officer, I'm in favor of all officers coming from the Cincinnati area. We need police that live in Cincinnati. We need people that live in Cincinnati to go into the police force. And if you've ever thought about a career in law enforcement, well, I'm here to tell you that registration is open with the Cincinnati Police Force right now, and you can start a career in law enforcement. And I know there's a lot of issues that we'll talk about today, even about the Cincinnati Police Force and the use of the N-word. We'll get into all of that, but I'll say that we need good people to go onto the Cincinnati Police Force, all of law enforcement. But since I live in Cincinnati, I want to talk about that in particular, and be the kind of leaders that they say they want to see, and be the kind of people that you say you want to see when you're interacting with law enforcement. And there's an opportunity right now. There is a link on my Facebook page, but hold on, let me post a link for you as well right now inside the Chop Shop. And I want to make sure that you share this information with whomever you think it might be, who might be interested. Could be you. Could be you. Could be someone that you know. I'm going to post for you directly the link for the Cincinnati police recruitment. And I want you to share this with whomever you think might be interested. Could be a family member. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull it up. One thing I do really like about the 21st century is, we can share information very, very simply, just like that. There it is. Good morning to you. Yeah, good morning. And I want to talk about some of the various patrols that you might have an opportunity to participate in. If you're interested, beat patrol, district investigator, neighborhood liaison officer, bike officer, violent crime squad. You can make a difference in your community. If you're wondering, so Nate, what are some of the minimum qualifications and education requirements? Just so you know, well, there's several. One, you have to be at least 21 years at the time of appointment, and that's upon the completion of the 28-week training academy. 2, you have to have a high school diploma and/or a GED. You must, 3, eligible to be able to work in the United States. Have a valid driver's license for a year before applying for the exam, and have no felony convictions. There is no age limit. This could be a second career for you or someone that you know. I know of an officer who, and I think people know him probably much better than I do. I just met him one time at an event. He became a police officer, Cincinnati police officer. He's like 50. I'm like, word? I like it. We need maturity. With age, you get maturity. We need that kind of maturity on our police force. I know you agree. After 5 years, Cincinnati police officers earn between $61,000 and $73,000. That's not including overtime. Sounding better? Okay, well, follow the link. It's on my Facebook page. It's on my Instagram and my Twitter. And I just posted inside the Chop Shop again. Follow that link. Save that link. And do your own research. I'll talk more about it later. If you got any specific questions about the qualifications, let me know, and I'll try to answer for you this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, 513. Pardon me on that one. Sorry about that. 873-7134. Good morning. All right, let me get in here and do my what I'm supposed to. In terms of sports this weekend, LeBron and them continue their dominance. They looking like a real team, like a real contender. LeBron and his hairline is just like, when I'm watching the game, I'm looking at his hair. If LeBron James comes out with like a new hair piece that you can play ball in, after he just balls out and wins a championship, oh, man, it's going to change the game on hair pieces. I'm telling you. If LeBron wins the championship with his hair piece, and sometimes it looks very odd because it's like way high on his forehead. Like, okay, but from the side in most places, it looks good. And he's balling. It'll revolutionize the way we look at hair pieces. Okay, I'm telling you that right now. That's away from the game. I did watch some boxing highlights. Little Charlo brothers, you know what I'm saying? So my man Charlo do what he do. And I do have some life lessons from the world of sports. Some life lessons from the world of sports. Because, for me, I try to find deeper meanings in things. I'm trying to be a better person, I guess. I'm not really trying to be a better person. I just want to be the best person I can be, if that means, you know what I'm saying? Better person implies somehow I'm not happy with how I am now. I just want to be the best Nate I can be, okay? So sometimes I kind of learn from other people's scenarios. My mother or somebody told me that when I was younger. It always stuck with me. I think it was my uncle. You can learn a lot from other people's mistakes. Just sit back and watch. Look and learn. People think they get to a certain age, you can stop learning. Like you know everything. I do not believe that about myself. I learn all the time. All the time. And some really tough learning lessons this weekend for Ortiz. Ortiz was the first Mexican heavyweight champion ever. Like, really? Is that the modern era or ever? And he lost his heavyweight championship bout with Anthony Johnson, who was the former champion. And if you stand these two men next to one another, you wouldn't even think they'd be in the same classification. I mean, Anthony Joshua is like, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", big old, what you would think of like when you think of like a heavyweight champion. He is an African-American from England. And Andy Ruiz is like this short, little pudgy Mexican dude. That's what he is. And he bested Anthony Joshua, which was a life lesson. Never take an opponent too lightly. I don't care what they look like. I don't care how tall they are, how short they are, how big they are, how fat they are. Never take anyone lightly. Never take anyone for granted. He took him for granted. Did he get knocked out? I think he knocked him out or something like that, maybe. Well, they had their everybody was kind of watching to see what was going to happen. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua 2. And Andy Ruiz came in looking, he just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready at all. And, to his credit, when they had the interview, what I liked about Andy Ruiz, and I became not a fan because I'm a fan of myself and the people I rock with and my children and stuff like that and family members. I like LeBron, but fan, no. I just appreciate a man to do what he do. That's it. Nothing more than that. But Anthony Ruiz, he got some respect for me, man, because you hear the city out there, sirens, or maybe not because of the noise gate. But Andy Ruiz, he got my respect on this because he kept it real. He kept it real. They asked him what happened and why he lost, and he kept it real. Check this out.
Andy Ruiz with Los Angeles ESPN House here. I just had to ask you, you are the most challenging opponent for Anthony Joshua. From all his fights, he usually knocks out people pretty close to the distance, but you in particular, you beat him, you knocked him out. This fight tonight, you struggled a lot with him. So, it was pretty close. I really thought that you would have won. What do you think is different about you than all his other opponents? What is it that you have?
Bloodshot on your face. How did that affect you in any way?
It affected me a little bit. I couldn't see really good for the left eye, but I think I maintained good. I think.
Hold on, Choppers. I can't do that. That's not the clip I want. Hold on 1 second here. That's not the clip I'm looking for. The clip I'm looking for is him talking about, when he got into the ring, he realized that he wasn't ready. He didn't train. He was like, many more pounds over the weight he was the first time he felt. And he kept it real. He said basically he didn't listen to his trainers. And one of his trainers is his father. He turned to his father and was like, Dad, I should have listened to you. Should have listened to you. Let that be a lesson. Let that be a lesson. I appreciate that. He kept it real. Hold on, let me see how I can find this. He apologized to his dad and said basically that they told him to train and he got caught up in the lifestyle. He said, man, being a champion, a heavyweight champion, you always doing this, you always doing that. He wasn't training. And there are lessons in that. The lesson is, okay, it's one thing to get to the top. It's another to stay at the top. That's one lesson. And then the other lesson is listen to your mama. Listen to your dad. Real simple. When Pops is trying to tell you something, listen, boy. Listen, boy. I try to tell my son, he's 4 years old. I said, boy, you're going to fall. You better stop. I ain't going to fall. What happens, people? 20 minutes later, I fell. Okay. Rub some dirt on it, kid. You'll be all right. We just told you. Right? And that's what happened to Andy Ruiz. I share that with you because sometimes you can learn from other people's mistakes. That's why they do it and do it publicly. Gonna learn from this. I'm trying to pull this up. It'll come up in a second here. My apologies on that. But I appreciate him keeping it 100. Like, just wasn't working, Dad. How you think you're going to go in overweight and you're a boxer? You're a freaking boxer, man. You don't get in there and train, boy. I know his father was hot. His dad was somewhere like, the same way I said it about my son, and if you got a son or a child and you told your kid, like, don't do that. And see, my son's 4, right? Every bit my son, I'm not going to fall. No, I'm not. Real quick. Before I can even get out of my mouth. No, I'm not. That's probably what Andy Ruiz, his father, was saying to him. I hope he survives. Right? I hope he survives. I hope he survives, because then I can say son, boy. But that's what youth is, though. I mean, I remember my father trying to tell me stuff, my grandfather trying to tell me stuff, my uncle trying to tell me stuff. I didn't want to listen to that dumb stuff. They didn't know ish.
You said that you didn't take this fight as seriously. You weren't in shape as you had hoped. But it seems crazy to be in that position, knowing what you know about how difficult it is to get an opportunity like this. What was it on your mind that made you feel like that would be okay?
You know what? I think
Great question.
I just should have trained harder, There's no excuses. I think I looked past him. I thought it was going to be the same thing on June 1st, but we did work on some things, but I think for me being a lot heavier, I didn't perform my best.
What were your dad and your coach telling you to try to get you back in the gym and get you back on course?
There's a lot of things that they're telling me, and I think the fame just got a little to me, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that I was the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I just got to bounce back. I've been through so many roller coasters in my life, and this is one of them, and I bounced back before. I'm going to bounce back again.
You keep talking about a third fight. Has anybody promised you that? Do you have any idea if that's actually going to happen?
We're going to work on that, and I won one, he won one, and we are going to make a trilogy.
Thank you. Radio Raheem with Andy.
Radio Raheem. What up, Radio Raheem? I like the way he said that. That's an announcer for Radio Raheem. So that's Andy Ruiz. Now, can anybody point out what Andy Ruiz did in that interview that was very powerful? Can anybody point out what Andy Ruiz said and did in that interview that is going to be a powerful tool for him to bounce back? It's going to make it more likely for him to bounce back faster. Okay, I want to see if you can peep what I peep. Do we think alike? Andy Ruiz just did. See, it's less about sports. It's about people. I say all the time, the Nathan Ivey Show is about people, politics, and pleasure. So I want to talk about people right now. And that person is Andy Ruiz, because he had a very interesting moment. He was the first ever Mexican American champion, and he lost it because he was partying too much and was out of shape in the ring with a world-class athlete, which does not sound smart. Have you seen Anthony Joshua? It is not smart. It's not smart, but he did something that is profound, that is so profound that smart, intelligent, I think successful people do. Drop Rice, has Nate become a father figure to these young listeners in the Chop Shop? No, I don't think so. But I want to know what you think. Pat Rice, did the Ohio Kings win their first game? Oh yeah, they obliterated their opponent. Shout out to the Ohio Kings. I'll be talking about that. I'll tell you what he did. What Andy Ruiz did that was so profound is he kept it real with himself. I know it sounds to be very, very simple for maybe you and me. But in real life, there's a lot of people that can't keep it real with themselves, especially when they do something dumb or they slip up or make a mistake. And therefore, they end up making the same mistake over and over again because they can't keep it real. I think Andy Ruiz is going to snap back, man, like rubber band man stacking hundreds. It's going to be real quick because he kept it real. Kept it real. I'm overweight. I was partying. Wasn't listening. There's a lesson in there. At least I can pick it up. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Now, the first question I asked you was a local question, and that is, do you think that Doug Evans should get probation or jail time? Prison time. And for me personally, in these days and times, I think he should get prison time because it shows that there's a real seriousness to these kind of crimes. And basically what he was doing was stealing from minority businesses. And because he had an elaborate front company, he even had a brother who was in the IT department. And maybe he was the IT department, IT as in information technology. And they made him the fake president. And I don't know, would you ever go along with something like that if you was making a lot of money? Keep it real with me. Don't lie. We're all tragically flawed humans. You ain't got to try to be somebody you're not and try to be all perfect, because I'm not. I'm not going to do it. So what do you think? What do you think? And it looks like the fine U.S. District Court Judge Michael Barrett may or may not send Evans to prison. His potential punishment ranges from probation without prison time to as much as 5 years behind bars. To me, this is bigger than probation. To give him probation would only further the perception that white wealthy men can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. But that's just me. He's going to be sentenced, at least the date is January the 7th. We'll figure out what's going on. And I read some interesting quote. Here's a quote from his attorney, Ben Dusing, who argued that Evans should not be sent to prison because he did all of his government contracts on time and there was zero amount of loss. As if to say that another real minority-owned company wouldn't have done the same thing. I mean, what in the hell? What difference does that make? That's not the point. I'm sure they did a great job, but I'm sure that the truly minority-owned companies would have did a great job as well. They might even did a better job, but we'll never know because Doug Evans is a greedy bastard who decided that, he was going to take as much as he can and justified it because he had people working for him. Well, la-dee-da, you got people that work for you, B? You got responsibilities? That is amazing. Never heard that before. As if he's the only man in America that's got responsibilities. The only man in Cincinnati that's got responsibilities. As if he's the only, person that employs people. I mean, it's just an affront to just common sense. It's just an affront to common sense. And what happened to Corey Jordan? Did he go to jail? This particular article doesn't speak of him. Let me think of here. Right? I don't know what happened. He was a figurehead. I mean, did Corey Jordan walk away with some money? I don't know. I don't know. Let me go to the beginning of time here. Let me go way back to the beginning. Pat writes, good morning. Tiffany writes, morning. Tracy writes, hi. Sharp writes, morning. FG writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Tanika writes, she writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Brenda writes, happy Monday. Pamela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. I've missed you all. Same here. Sharp writes, good morning. No, I'm sorry. He writes, good weekend. I hear you loud and clear. Great. Tracy says she's been up at 5 a.m. getting it in, huh? Early risers rule the world. You'd only have 24 hours in a day. That's not enough time. You're either going to cut back on your sleep time, cut back on your recreation time, and or do all of the above, and or get up early in the morning and get up early. You know what I'm saying? Get that workout in, get that light breakfast in, start the brain moving, start thinking. Fame writes, good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Choppers. To all of you except the ones who get hot and bothered at Fame's banal commentary. CG Dub writes, good morning, Choppers. Drop writes, good morning, Choppers. CJ writes, good morning, everyone. Angela writes, salutations. Drop writes, is Sleepy Joe Biden the only chance the desperate Democrats have to beat the orange, or I think it means to beat the orange president in 2020, ? Hashtag Black votes matter. Yeah, you're right. Black votes do matter. You're right about that. And again, statistically among Democrats, no, it's not true. Mike writes, rise and shine, young stars. Fame writes, hashtag delete Facebook. Thank you for your post inside of the Facebook page, friends page. It's a lot of great stuff. That, not great stuff, but a lot of fodder for conversation and some really interesting things as well. Again, I can't see everything, including Dave Parker's larger-than-life legacy is one that MLB fans should never forget. As I understand it, Dave Parker was denied interest into the Hall of Fame yet again. Is it a numbers thing? Is it a championship thing? I don't have the numbers in front of me. I can't tell you that I'm up on it. But I do know that he is considered a baseball great here locally. And that seems to be enough. We must discuss. Oh, yeah, I don't want to touch this. I see that, Ray. I see that. Yeah, not good. What is this? What in the hell? A latex maid? Or maid dressed in late. I don't know what that is. Father accused of leaving son on the side of the road because he thinks he's gay. Yeah, I saw that. Apparently he's the boy. I don't know. Something happened with some, what they call gay porn. And somehow the father, let me see, the juvenile took police. He said it started over an argument. According to the report, the boy said that his father caught him looking at some male pornography on his phone. And when the father saw this, he told his son to pack a duffel bag and get into the car. And then he dropped the boy off at the police station with no food, water, or money. And he told the police to find him a new home. Apparently, this story is coming out of Florida. Yeah. This is a black man. He appears to be a black man. His name is Evanard Julius, 30 years old. He's been charged with 3 counts of child abuse without bodily harm. What the hell does that mean? And apparently he dropped his son off at the police department because he caught his son looking at some gay pornography. Now, let me say this. We got Drop on the line. But let me say this. It is far too easy to get your hands on pornography in the modern day society. It is a problem. When I was younger, you at least had to put some search into it and, some guile and something into it to get your hands on pornography. It wasn't as readily available. Now, once you get a phone, all you got to do is get on Instagram. Instagram is pornographic. Let's just start right there. We ain't even talking about any of your whatever websites. Instagram is pornographic. You can go on Instagram and watch everything. on Instagram. All you got to do is type it in on Instagram, just so you know that. And so parents, that's why we don't allow our daughter to be on any social at all, although we've called her a couple times and had to take the phone and all this kind of stuff because she want to be on whatever she was on. She want to be on Snapchat. But any social network is pornographic. You might see anything. There is no kids version of it. It's all adult. So I'm just telling you, don't let your kids, your grandkids and your cousin and them and your children fool you if you got young kids, because they can get their hands on it. But let's go to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. This is your West Side Connection, up bright and early as usual out here in the beautiful state of California, also known as the People's Republic. Mr. Ivy, did you have a great weekend, sir?
I did. How about yourself?
I was on hold with, great weekend, Mr. Ivy. Outstanding. I was on hold, and did I hear you say that the father who discovered that his young son was watching gay porn took him to the police station?
Yeah, took him to the police station.
Correctly?
Yes, that's what I'm reading, yes.
Okay, now, Mr. Ivy, that's not what I called about, but is it possible that the father was scared to whoop his ass, so he figured his only resort was to take him to the police department?
It could have been. Or he could have been, I don't want this child anymore. Here, y'all do something with him. You should have took him to the church.
Wow.
He took him to the police department, but the police department was closed, so the kid just sat there.
Oh. Well, again, at least his father's in his life. Mr. Ivy,
but
if
is
you
he?
Allow me.
But is he? Isn't that child abuse and neglect? You just throw your kids somewhere with nothing? I mean, that's neglect.
But, Mr. Ivy, it depends on the community standards. If the people in the community allow that type of thing to happen, then I guess it's okay. But if the community is not, if they're like in Kentucky, you know where I'm talking about. Certain community standards won't allow certain parental behavior. Am I correct?
Yeah, but in what community is it okay to just drop your kid off with no food, water, phone, money, or anything, and then drive away? I think. Can you tell me that? In what community is that not a bad thing?
Well, first of all, it was a police station. Okay,
correct. But it was closed.
But come on, Nate. There's no such thing as a closed police station unless it's got like 200 people that live in the town.
True.
I mean, Nate, there's no such thing as a closed police station.
True.
But again, we all witnessed the video that the parent took at her child's school when she physically assaulted that little boy and verbally berated him in front of authority at the school. And then to add insult to injury, she actually took her girlfriend with her to record the entire event on Facebook. Now, I haven't heard anything as far as the community lashing out at that parent.
Yeah. Come on, man. Donnie B lashed out at her. Everybody lashed out at that parent. We talked about that mother. The mother, her kids have been removed from her house. Come on, man. That she got hella consequences for that.
Okay. So again, all I'm saying is it depends on what the community does that will determine what type of behavior they will allow. Because I mean, Nate, that lady, how could they wait until it gets posted on Facebook for something to happen? If the video was never posted, do you think anything would have happened?
If the video was never posted, sadly, I don't know. And I think that's more of a question of the worth of Black life. So, for instance, that was a great question you asked. Why did it take for the video to come out? I don't know the timeline. But let me assume that what you're saying is true, that the video came out and then everybody got upset about it. Why didn't the teachers or administrators do something about it? I don't know.
But again, Nate, we're talking about the community standard. The lady went there with her and her girlfriend to record it.
Okay.
Because if you watch
And she lost her
Okay,
kids.
so-
They took the kids out the house. She's been nationally
but-
roasted. She's been roasted
I know,
on social
but Nate-
media across the world.
But Nate, in the mind of that parent, she felt it was acceptable within her community to videotape it and post it. Now, maybe she wanted to post it to show this is how you parent when you don't have a father in the house. I don't know, Nate.
Or
But
maybe
the woman felt that it would be acceptable to post it. She wouldn't post it.
Well, she knows better now.
Huh?
She knows now she knows better. So she did think that. And perhaps now, because she's lost her kids and everybody's talking about her, she's facing charges. Maybe she now understands she can't do that.
But okay. But see again, Nate,
Or she
it's
shouldn't
hard
do that,
to
'cause
get
she
you-
can.
It's hard to get you to agree with me sometimes. I'm not saying you never agree with me, but this is what I meant by the community standards will allow certain behavior. So the only reason I chose that lady beating her son on video was because of the fact that at the very beginning of the video, Nate, her girlfriend is with her, and she tells her girlfriend who's holding the camera, tells her, slow down so I can keep up. You want me to videotape it? I mean,
that was both inappropriate. I mean, I would never do that. I would never participate in that.
Because you know that is unacceptable.
Hey, it's wrong for the
For
kid.
one,
It's wrong for the child,
right,
yes.
Right. But in this woman's mind, not only did she think it was acceptable, but she felt that maybe she could help someone by showing them the right way to do it. What other reason would you post something like that on social media, Nate? Is the woman, I mean, but anyway.
Who knows what she was thinking about? Who knows what the woman was thinking about? I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe she wasn't thinking at all. Maybe she was caught up in her feelings, or she was brought up in an abusive scenario. And maybe she's just not a good mother. I'm sure. I don't know what the reason is, but I bet now she realized. I bet she'll never do it again.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she won't. That was a major teachable moment for her and a lot of other people that watched it.
Right.
I will guarantee you, Mr. Ivy, we will see another video like that.
Yeah, it won't be from her though.
Oh, well, that's probably true. Now, if you will allow me to segue into another subject that again, Mr. Ivy, this is why I like your show, because there are many other shows out there to choose from. And the fact that I get up early in the morning because, like Tracy says, the people who rise early, they win the day. So, but you do talk about the economy. You do talk about the importance of financial financial intelligence within the black community. You do talk about it. I do give you credit, and that's why I like your show. But I would like to ask you, do you think that there should be more emphasis on this economy from the Congressional Black Caucus? Because in 2017, when the Republicans introduced their budget with the tax cuts and the deregulations of things, the Congressional Black Caucus had a press conference and said that this would not be good for the black constituents that they represent. Now, I don't know if you remember that press conference that they had. And now you fast forward 2.5 years later, and this economy is unbelievable, Nate. And I'm just asking you, do you think it should be talked about more as far as how the Democrat Party and non-black Democrats who may vote independent or whatever, who listen to your show, that somehow, even though this is a Republican economy / Obama economy, that this is a time to take advantage of these opportunities that are out here in this great economy, and how black people can leverage this economy to benefit them down the road, regardless of who's president. So I would just like to know your take on that. And do you think that the Congressional Black Caucus should be doing more?
No, I don't think that the Congressional Black Caucus should be doing more to talk up Trump's economy. No.
Oh, no, Trump / Obama's economy. Remember that?
I don't think so.
But why? Isn't it good news for the constituents of the Congressional Black Caucus? Jobs, jobs, jobs.
Well, I mean, a few days ago, I know the Congressional Black Caucus, I saw some headline in which there was blast in the Trump administration for the cuts to food stamps. You know,
But that's fake news, Nate. The cut. See, again, you have to trust but verify the news. The cuts only apply to able-bodied 18 to 35-year-olds who can't get a job in the economy that's 3.5 unemployment, Nate. That's where the cut is. But like I told you last week, the way the media will spin it, because the mainstream media are willing accomplice of the Democrat Party, they will spin it, and then the news will pick it up, and they'll run around talking about Trump is cutting food stamps for poor people. But see, Nate, you know better. You know that's not the truth.
Well, actually, it sounds like it is the truth. I mean,
Nate,
because there's a difference
Nate.
there's a difference between what you said being able-bodied and being poor. There's a lot of able-bodied poor people, correct?
That's where the cut is taking place.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
but as you said, yes or no, there are a lot of able-bodied poor people, correct?
Duh, that's a dumb question, Nate.
Okay, then. So
That's
when
like
you
asking
say
is water wet?
okay, then.
Is
So
water
when you
wet?
say
okay, what's the point?
So my point is this: is that when you say that it's fake news because it's not affecting poor people, that's not true. They are poor
No,
people.
Nate. I said the way the story is reported is fake news. Now, any story, whether it's in print or media, Nate, it's a headline. And it's the responsibility of the receiver of that information to dig deeper. Or they could just accept what the headline says and be misled. And then when someone tells them what's actually beneath the headline, they say they're blankety, blankety, blank. That's all I'm saying, Nate. It's out there. The truth is there. They're not taking food out of the mouths of poor people. All it says is if you're 18 to 35
Right.
and you go apply for your next set of food stamps,
Right.
which every bureaucracy does,
Right.
that's the part that people hate. When you got to go down there and re-up.
Right.
When you go re-up, now they're going to say, if you're 18 to 35 and you ain't been looking for work, I'm cutting your stamps. I mean, come on, Nate, what's wrong with that?
And, you know, that's part of it. But there's also people who are, in effect, are going to find their stamps cut. And in some cases, it could be $45 a month. I know you've read this information.
Nate, you know I trust but verify whatever
Right.
I talk about because I don't
Right.
want to get on here and look like or sound like a fool.
Right.
And you would not allow me to come on here. And
Well, I mean, I can't
look
stop
like
what you
and
say.
sound like
I would
a
have stopped
fool.
you from saying a lot of other things you said. So I can't stop you from saying
Yeah.
anything. So all
Right,
I'm
but
saying
I'm
is,
no black-
all I'm saying is I think what's happening here is you're getting caught up with the able body part. So you're like, oh, these are people that can work, as if these people are not poor, regardless of their able-bodiedness or not. Like I'm like you. I think if you can work, you can be working. That's what I have to do. But I also understand there's a lot of different circumstances out there. You know what I'm saying? I've been very fortunate in my life. A lot of people haven't had, you know, the fortune I've had. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's a lot of different circumstances. And I'm just
That is
saying,
true,
you can
but
be
Nate-
able-bodied and poor. There are working poor people. There are people that go to work every day, but they are by any compassionate measure still classified as poor. So I'm just saying that.
Okay, Nate. Now, I know you talked about how when you were growing up, your parents used the assistance. Now, did you use assistance after you became 18?
No.
Okay, I did, Mr. Ivy. I was in Detroit in 1978. I just graduated high school, and I was in between jobs. And my mother said, get your blankie off that couch and go down to the county and get some food stamps. And Nate, I had to go down there. I went down there, I applied, and I got the food stamps. and I gave them to her.
And perhaps if you and your family's legacy hadn't been robbed from you, you never had to do that.
But
I just want to add that to it.
That's not the point.
But that is the point. The point is there's a historical context as to why black people are poor in this country.
Nate, I never said we were poor. Did I say I was poor?
No, you didn't.
No, I wasn't poor. I was 18 out of a job. Okay? I'm no longer under my parents' guidance. I just live at her house. Mm-hmm. So I had to take my black ass down there and get them stamps if I wanted to stay in her house.
So you could pay for your own food. Again, I get it.
Nate, that was assistance. Assistance is for a lot of different classes of people. Okay? It's not necessarily all poor people on assistance, Nate.
I would challenge that. I mean, you're right. There's some people who are, maybe have some kind of impairment, things like that. So you're right in that regard.
Or in between jobs, like I was. Nate, you can't discount that story. I'm
not trying to discount your story. I'm just trying to figure out what your point is. That's it.
My point is, Nate, the story that was reported that Trump cut food stamps to poor people was fake news.
I disagree with you, but I think that we're getting caught up in semantics, though.
But see, again, Nate, I'm trying to talk about economic freedom and lifting people up in this great economy, and you talking about food stamps.
And then let me go back here. You said, so wait a minute. I don't know how the system worked back in the day. So back in the day, no matter how much money your mother and family worked or made, you were able to go down there. Like if your parents made $1 million a year and they said, get up off the couch, boy, you better go down there and get some food stamps. Wherever you lived when you were younger, you could go down there. And no matter how much money your parents made, they were going to give you food stamps. Is that what you're telling me?
But see, yes, Nate.
Really?
Because Nate, first of all, I don't know where you come up with millionaire money. I don't even know why you want to associate that with me.
I'm just trying to make the point that so how old were you when you got these stamps?
Nate, I was 18.
Okay, so
I came from a middle. Okay, Nate, do I have to tell my whole life story just to verify this story?
No. Okay, it might be interesting.
Nate.
One day.
Nate.
But no.
Okay, one day I do have an interesting story to tell. One day it will be told. But anyway, Nate, I just turned 18, okay? I was no longer a dependent of my mother, right?
Okay, and how much money were you making a year?
Nate, I had a job since I was 12 years old, Nate.
Okay, how much money were you making? I'm just saying.
At the time, when I was 18, when I lost this job, I was working as a stock clerk at a department store called Hudson's in downtown Detroit. Okay, I was making like $2-3 an hour.
Okay,
right
now, can I ask a question? Another question. Okay, so you're making $2 or $3 an hour. Now, when you went down to file for your food stamps, did you have to put that information in the application?
No, because I had gotten laid off from the department store job.
So you got laid off. So you had no income coming in, and you went down to get food stamps. Did you have to tell them that you had no income coming in?
Yes, I had, of course.
So guess what, Drop? You were poor. That's why you qualified, because you were poor. Now, your mother and father, wait, let me just get all that. Your mother and father may have been middle class, but by 18, your broke ass had no money. That's why you qualify for it.
But Nate, I was unemployed. I had a work history.
Right. Okay? You were poor. You were able-bodied, but you had no income coming in. Therefore, you qualified for the benefits. What's the problem? That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Ivy, I don't want to get into an intellectual debate.
But if perhaps your legacy wasn't stolen from you by white supremacy, you might not have had to get on the system. Maybe your family had a business or something that was destroyed. I don't know. So I'm just saying, I think there's a historical context as to why, in general, black families have less wealth than white families. So that comes into play when I'm talking about modern day forms of resources that come from the government. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't get so upset about it. I'm supposed to get all torn up about it Because somebody is getting $45 extra on their food stamp card? That's ridiculous to me.
No, but see, Nate, again, the original thing that I was talking to you about, and again, this is why I like your show, because you do what typical talk show hosts do when the subject starts to turn toward economic freedom and empowerment for black people. Okay? And I'm telling you, Nate, if you look at every Republican presidency going back to Nixon, which was the last time this economy was this good in 1969, Republican economy. Then you go to 1980, Republican economy. Then you fast forward to now. Okay? 3 Republican ideologies as far as the economy where black people have prospered in all 3 of those periods, 1969, the 1980s, and now in the second decade of the new millennium. Mr. Ivey, you cannot deny the economic success of the black community during those Republican presidencies and the growth that they gave to the American economy.
Do black people deserve reparations?
Yes.
All right, then. That's all that matters.
But it will be very few who will be able to prove that they deserve it. It would just be too hard to prove because of the mixing of races that took place at that time.
Well, okay, where there's a will, there is a way. I know that. If we can put a man on the moon and a robot on Mars, we can figure out how to deliver economic justice to people that deserve it. I'm sure we're very smart in creative human beings when we want to be.
I know, but Nate, even the Democratic Party has dropped, no pun intended, have dropped the whole reparations thing. They had this big hearing back last year during Martin Luther King Black History Month with Ta-Nehisi Coates, Cory Booker.
You're right.
They were all front and center.
You're right.
We got it.
You're so right.
What happened, Nate?
You're right, but you know what?
What happened?
But I'll tell you what happened. It died down. Nobody's talking about it from that side. But you know what? It's not about what the politicians or any particular party say. If the people are for this, they should organize and build it up locally, statewide, and attack it nationally. I mean, so what? Right. The Democrats ain't talking about it. So what? It doesn't mean that we or whoever is interested in that topic or issue have to stop it. That's how I look at it. So what?
Okay. Well, Mr. Ivey, again, Americans and the economy is a personal thing. Okay. Most people do not know what's in the next man's pocket. Okay. And the people or the next man who wants to show everybody what's in his pockets probably doesn't have much other than what he's showing. So my whole point, Mr. Ivey, is, like I always say, me before we. If I shine, we shine. It is 2019, Mr. Ivey, going into 2020. The 13th Amendment was ratified on December 6th, 1865, Mr. Ivey. Okay? So you do the numbers. It's about time the black community talks more about economic freedom than how many food stamps black people should be getting from the federal government. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
We appreciate the call, man. Well, I don't think that the black community has these absolute terms. Like we can only handle one conversation at once. And I reject the way that you define that conversation. I don't think that's the way it really is. You can have compassion for poor people while at the same time, be pro black economics, whatever that might be to you. It don't have to be either or. You got to pick a side. No, you can do both. Man, that guy, pardon me. My son picked something up at his school. And at 4 years old, he don't have no chill. I mean, I might have to pick the boy up early because I'm just concerned about him choking and all this kind of stuff and coughing. I'd rather him be with his dad. And, you know, we're eating dinner on Saturday, or eating lunch, actually. He just coughs all in my plate. I mean, just all over my plate. Had a nice little plate put together. I'm like, oh, I'm about to smash, right? He come, Daddy, sneezing, coughing, all that kind of stuff. Oh, Daddy, I'm coughing. I mean, sweet little boy face. And I just had to go ahead and finish my food. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I had a great plate. I figured I was already infected by that point. So, man, these children, man. I have a lot of compassion for children. A lot of compassion for children. That's what I've learned about me. When it comes to children, I'm a guardian. You know, that's the kind of person that I figure out about myself. I want to make sure the kids are always cool. And I believe that adults traumatize children and turn them into traumatized adults. I believe it's the adults. I start with the parents and family that mess up kids and their fortunes. I mean, those early years of development are so important. It's so important. Those early years of development and having good people around them and being in good environments. And when you send your kids to school in the modern day era, you're terrified. You're terrified as the parent because you don't know if, especially as you get into some of the higher grades, like right now, my daughter's in high school and she's dealing with all of her emotions and all the teenage stuff. And at the same time, I'm worried about mass shootings at her school. I'm worried about her grades. I'm worried about all these different things that's going on, right? It's terrifying as a parent. It can be very, very overwhelming. And so this Gabriel Tay case, to me, I think that people should look at this Gabriel Tay case this way. What if that was your kid? That's the way we should process Gabriel Tay. And Cincinnati Public Schools are trying to get immunity, essentially saying that just because they didn't, respond to this mother and let her know what was going on with her son, they're not responsible for anything that happens. And I'll be straight up honest with you. That is troubling as a mofo. Because what that says is that can happen to your child. Your child could be, knocked unconscious and they don't have to tell you anything, even if it has serious ramifications on your child's psychology. That is terrifying. And my question is, what's the best interest for the kids? Not what's best for the district, but what is best for the children? Because that's what everybody fake act like it's really all about. It's about the kids. Is it better for the kids to be under a system in which the school and administrators are held responsible for their safety, legally or not? I mean, which of those two scenarios do you think is better for the kids? A scenario in which the actions that the school and the administrators take when there's an emergent situation dealing with your child, they should be held legally responsible for that, or they shouldn't be held legally responsible. What do you think is better for the children? And that is my question, because one thing when you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with students, that's the question you should be asking yourself. I believe that there are, thanks for the people have been posting this, is Angela back on the 7th 2 days ago. And I'm going to continue talking about this. And I want to know how we can expand that conversation to deal with stakeholders, which are not going to want to talk about this until this case is done with. And by then it feels like it's too late. Maybe it's too late already. But again, if you send your child to school and your child is rendered unconscious, don't you think that the parent should be notified of the circumstances to which your child was found unconscious? And I understand that people make mistakes. I understand that people, do a lot of things. I'm very sympathetic where no one is perfect, but that's less about, that's just give a damn and being held accountable. Would any of this have made a difference to Gabriel Tay? We'll never know. But we do know that whatever the court decides will make a difference on your child. We do know that. We do know that potentially. That is very, very sad. Quote, these parents had no idea how dangerous his third grade was. These parents had no idea what was going on at Carson Elementary School. And I would say that parents don't really know what's going on in any of the schools. We don't really know. I mean, under, I think, some really good reasons why, because you want to protect children. You know, along with that is a certain cover as it relates to the school. Like, how much do you really know about your school? We talk about how much you know about your neighborhood, but how much do you really know about what's happening at your school with, situations like this? Like, were the other parents notified as to what happened? Like, even if that happened to another child at my daughter's school, I feel like I should know. And to me, this is a real question about how much parents should know. Now, I'm not saying that parents should know any intimate details about other children and things like that. That's going too far. But if there was a threat to a school, your school, where your child goes, it's not a threat to your child, but maybe another child or maybe to somebody who works there, should all parents be notified? If a child was found unconscious in the bathroom, is that something that people should know about? Or does it fall under the privacy of the child? Which I think some people can abuse that and it really becomes the privacy of the adults, right? Responsible for the child or the student. I just feel like there are vast implications with this that, just don't. I wish I had the resources to delve very deep into this, because I think it would be quite amazing what we would find, quite honestly. I mean, just from this right here. And I mean, just keep this in mind that they wanted to just dismiss this. Aaron Herzig, who represents the administrators, told the circuit court judge that denying the officials immunity would be, quote, opening up whole new vistas of liability for other schools, and that the lawsuit does not allege bullying as Ohio law defines it. So Aaron Herzig, who represents the administrators, is saying that it would open up liability for other schools. How so? And is that a bad thing? If more liability for schools, do you think, let me think about this. Let's think this through here. Do you believe, again, I go back to my original question, what's best for the children? Is it better for the children for the administrators to be able to be held liable and legally responsible for things like this? Or is it not better for the kids? Not what's better for the district or the various districts around Ohio, but what's best for the kids. And I think whatever that is what they should do. That's what I think should happen. But will that happen? That's the real question. Do you think that's what's really going to happen? I don't know. If I had to guess based upon the power dynamics and just some things that I've heard and what I see, as I argued, at the very least, we should get a better surveillance system in all of our schools, at the very least. And I'm sure there's people at CPS who are dedicated to this. I hope. Here's one thing that I can say. For me, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And maybe for there to be some real reforms or something like this, the court case would have to be over with because the district has decided that they want to fight this tooth and nail. But if I had to be honest with you, I'm a CPS parent. I haven't seen any major push or any big reforms around bullying or more accountability or anything like that. I haven't seen any kind of campaign with the parents from CPS to bridge the communication gap or anything like that. I haven't seen any of that. Now I could have missed it. But I haven't seen that. And I think that's at the very least one of the things that should come out of this as well. And I think there's a tendency when things like this happen, everybody wants to go into defense. Nobody wants to lose their job. Nobody wants to lose their job. I get it. I understand it. This is something to watch. I'll keep my eyes on this. If you see any articles around Gabriel Tay anywhere, please post them inside the Friends page or just inside the Chop Shop as we're talking about it, because I think that's a real serious local issue. And 70% of the children that attend CPS are African American. So I think it's safe to say that Gabriel Tay, African American. And, there needs to be some real hard questions. But a lot of people in the media, they're telling you they sold out and bought out when it comes to CPS. They want to be friends. Everybody wants to be nice. And everybody wants to make sure you get an interview and all these kind of stuff. But, independent media is not here for that. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to ask the questions that need to be asked. And that's it. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing more. This ain't about friends. It ain't about who I like. This is about the children. So Cincinnati is going to have to decide. And when I say Cincinnati, I'm talking about the people that can really get stuff done in Cincinnati, the real power brokers. It ain't me, but the people that can really get things done in this city, for real, when they decide that it's about the children, that's when you'll see, some real reforms and things like that. If in fact people believe that's something that's even necessary. I might have a minority view. I don't know. That's a damn shame though. It really is. And you can't fault the school because a kid gets bullied. I don't fault the school for that. You can't be in every interaction. These things are going to happen. But what concerns me is the reaction afterward. One thing I liked about Andy Ruiz, and I respect about people in general, people that can keep it real and they can admit when they wrong and can admit their faults, and that's it. That's a realness. You know what I'm saying? We expect that from the masses, but the leadership don't have to do that. They do what they want to do. This is very, very, it'll be very interesting to see how this all turns out. And what if this happens? What if the court say, nah? Where does that leave the family? Where does that leave the next CPS family? Well, the Cincinnati way is don't do anything until it's your kid. And then when it's your kid, oh boy, we got a problem. Oh boy, we got the problem now when it's your child. When it's somebody else's child, it's like, I ain't trying to get involved, B. Man, you got to love it. Listen, I'm late on a break. I've got to take a quick break. We'll come right back and more with more. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, live, local, and vocal, chopping it up on a beautiful Monday as you return to the work week, or should I say the weekday, because the work week is 24/7. What you mean day off? There are no days off. There are no days off. You don't get any days off. What did Puffy say? You can sleep when you're dead. That's right. Much more to discuss. Did you hear about the police officer that went on Facebook and said some crazy stuff about Farrakhan? Hear about that? Oh, did you hear about what's happening with the Cincinnati police officers that have gotten their jobs back? One, the arbitrator, plus he's getting back pay. We must discuss. Live, local, and vocal. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. We'll be right back.
With Renew Community Church. I am pleased to announce the free Train the Trainer Masterclass coming to Cincinnati on Thursday, December the 19th, sponsored by Walker Funeral Home and Lamar. The Masterclass will train people just like you, as well as parents, teachers, physicians, youth workers, nurses, and mentors on how to develop better skills to save our kids from pipeline to prison, bullying, reduce gun violence, homicides, suicides, domestic violence, and drug abuse. The Train the Trainer Masterclass, 5 p.m. doors open with a business connection. 6 to 7 p.m. free dinner reception. 7 p.m. Train the Trainer Masterclass. Free Conceal lotion for everyone.
Renew Community Church, 2129 West North Bend Road in College Hill. Register at the door December the 19th or sign up for the free Train the Trainer Masterclass at SundayConnectCircle.org. That's SundayConnectCircle.org. Get your free Train the Trainer Masterclass flyer in the Cincinnati Herald. I am Charlie Winburn with Renew Community Church. Are you struggling with something right now in your life that no matter how hard you work on that struggle, it just never seems to go away? A health challenge, a mental challenge, a financial or relationship struggle. Did you know that 100% of your current struggles are due to what negatively happened to you from birth to 7 years of age? Did you know that there is something that you could do about this struggle? Let us help you rewrite your life, along with 200 other leaders that I plan to train in this life-changing masterclass. Sign up today for the free Train the Trainer Masterclass, being held on Thursday, December the 19th at Renew Community Church. Food and refreshments will be served. Go to SundayConnectCircle.org and sign up for free. That's SundayConnectCircle.org and sign up for the free Train the Trainer Masterclass.
With the Bloomberg Urban Report, I'm Donna Wilson. Daniel Halpern is the co-founder and CEO of Jackmont Hospitality, an Atlanta-based restaurant management company. He owns and operates 37 TGI Fridays and other independent concept restaurants. Blackbusiness.com reports the company recorded over $170 million in revenue and was named Franchise Group of the Year at the annual TGI Fridays Global Business Conference. Meanwhile, congratulations going out to another business leader of color. Calvin Butler, the CEO of Baltimore Gas and Electric, was recently appointed Executive VP and CEO of Exelon Utilities. In his role, Butler will oversee the company's 6 local gas and electric companies located in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Delaware, D.C., and New Jersey. That's your Bloomberg Urban Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
That was very quick, and thank you for being here. Currently 9:49 a.m. in the Queen City. Nathan Ivey in the air chair. I flow, therefore I am. Welcome back. Yes, my friends, we are living in the last days of good damn common sense, and I'm here to discuss our last few hours together. Kanye West's entire body was covered in silver for the opera Mary. He looks very strange. Never do that again. No bueno. Never do that again. What happened over the weekend, man? So many things. South Africa, Miss South Africa wins Miss Universe. Someone sent a meme to me. Is this true? Hold on. I got this meme this morning from a listener. Hold on. It's called, look at this. For the first time in history, Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, and Miss Universe are all black women. Is that true? I got this meme today. I hope it's true. Beautiful. Hey, good morning to you. Welcome back. A Saudi gunman killed 3 people at a U.S. naval base. And apparently right before he did it, he went on Twitter and was blasting the United States support of Israel and accused America of being anti-Muslim. And then he went on the base, killed 3 people. Then he was killed himself by a sheriff's deputy after just going on a rampage through a building. See this? Apparently he had a Glock 9mm that was purchased legally. Wow. To which the governor of Florida, DeSantis, said that we question whether foreigners should continue to be allowed under federal law to buy guns in the United States. Do you think that foreigners should be allowed to buy guns in the United States? You come over here from another country, should you be allowed to legally purchase a gun? Well, if you say no, then you agree with DeSantis, who is the Republican governor of Florida, I believe. Yeah, he beat, what was the brother's name? Everybody loved the brother. What's his name again? It'll come to me. It will come to me. Damn. Last days, you ain't even safe on the naval base. You got to give up this notion of safety. Those days are over. You leave your home, you ain't safe. You leave your home, you ain't safe. What the hell is wrong with Nikki Haley? Talking about Dylan Roof ruined the Confederate flag. Oh, really? Truly? Damn, you've told us too much about yourself, Nikki Haley. She exposed herself. Talking about, oh, Dylan Roof, he ruined the flag. It was all about heritage. Was it? That must be a Southern thing. Which, of course, they claim it is. Damn, she is goofy for that. I mean, there's some people out there with some really different views. Let's put it that way. Some really different views. 513-873-7134. I want to remind you, this is a job alert that the Cincinnati Police Department has open registration right now. If you or someone that you know is interested, then please follow the link that I am posting in the Chop Shop right now. There it is. You can follow that link right now, and it'll take you directly to where you can find the information to apply. If you're interested, you must be at least 21 years of age at the time of appointment, have a high school diploma or equivalent, and be eligible to work in the United States. And as I've said, we need good people to be a part of the police force. We have to sometimes change from within. And these are critical leadership positions, which we'll be talking about some stories in just a couple of minutes that'll underscore the point that I'm making to you. We need good people from our community, good black people and others to become police officers. If you're interested, you can text the Cincinnati PD to 797979 for more information and updates on the whole registration process. And, you know, what I found was interesting is, and you'll find on the link, is I guess someone asked the question, what are the most common disqualifiers in the Cincinnati police officer selection process? What would you think that would be? I asked the question again. What are the most common disqualifiers in the Cincinnati police officer selection process? One is, not completing a personal history questionnaire. The other is not listing all the information requested. Here's one that stood out to me. Not being truthful about information that may not have disqualified the applicant if they had just listed the information truthfully. So apparently they had some people that thought they were going to you know what? I'm not going to share this. And it turns out that it was something that never would have disqualified them in the first place. Goes back to what we said about keeping it real. What else here? There's information about the physical requirements. I know more about the process than I ever have before. And if you would like to embark on a career in law enforcement and you live in the Cincinnati area, the greater Cincinnati area, this could be the opportunity for you. So please follow the link. If it's not for you, it's not right for you, then perhaps it's right for someone that you know. And please share that link with them this morning and throughout the day. I appreciate it. See here. Clue writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. See here. Doug Evans' Republican friends are already making excuses. Oh, y'all funny about the holiday party. I see y'all. Y'all funny. Mason Mahler writes, Doug Evans' Republican friends are already making excuses for Evans, citing the needs to lock up the real criminals. Really? Republicans will excuse anything. But he is a real criminal. See, that's my thing. I don't want people to overlook what Doug Evans did. What he did is criminal. It was intentional. And he got caught. And he should pay the price for that to send a message around the region. That's what I think. I'm sure that Doug Evans personally I'm sure he's a hell of a guy. Because everybody's a hell of a guy. Everybody's nice in person. Most people anyway. CG Doug writes, Mr. Evans will get a tap, not even a slap on the wrist. Hashtag house arrest, hashtag yawns, hashtag they do it every day. Really? Yeah, you're probably right about that. You're probably right about that. You're probably right. You said not even a slap on the wrist, right? A tap on the wrist is probation. A tap on the wrist is probation and a fine that's, I don't know, $250,000. That's a tap on the wrist. Man. And again, we'll see. We're going to get a chance to see at least what this judge thinks is justice in this kind of case. That's what we're going to get a chance to see. Now, people are going to say, if the judge comes back and gives Evans a slap on the wrist, people are going to say, oh, is the white man going to be want to do? But this is this one judge who's making this decision. Underscores, and again, we've been talking about these judge races as we did in the last election back in November. Very important. Nobody wants to talk about until you got an issue before the judge. Speaking of judges, shout out to Judge Janea. Tracy writes, not sure if it is. I pray it's not going to sweep nationwide. Angela writes, what is our solution to the verses waiting on races to punish other races? Ray writes, Grand Risings all. Mason Mahler writes, Jewish groups denounced President Donald Trump Sunday for an anti-Semitic trope after he referred to some Jewish voters in the real estate business as brutal killers who will vote for him to dodge a wealth tax. Trump also complained that some Jews, quote, don't love Israel enough in a speech Saturday at the Israeli American Council National Summit in Florida before a supportive crowd. No wonder this happened in Florida as well. I didn't know you had the Israeli American Council National Summit in Florida. And in Florida, you had this shooting spree on a naval base. Is there a connection? Kelly writes, good morning. CG Doug writes, me told you that. Speaking of Doug Evans. Tanika writes, I work around the corner from Evans Landscaping. Yep, they're up and running, about knocking me off the road with all the speeding trucks does, shaking my head. Yeah, they making money. I mean, that's quite interesting. Ergon is a clever anagram to give Negras the middle finger. Oh my God, I see it here. You talking Negro? Oh, Angela. Damn. Oh my God. Doug Evans got to go to jail, man. Damn. It's very clever. Not so clever. I see it now. That is hilarious. Is it not? F Doug Evans for that. I see it. Well, ergon is spelled E-R-G-O-N. And I'm like, ergon? It just stuck out to me for whatever reason. I didn't perceive that at all. That was all Angela. Ergon. What does that mean? The word ergon. Okay, let me look it up. And it doesn't really stand for anything. I mean, it might be short for ergonomics. But no, if you take the N off of ergon and put it in, so right now, ergon is spelled E, follow it home now, E-G-R-O-N. If you take the N off the end of ergon and put it in front of the E, so now the N is the first letter in the word, it spells the word Negro. Yeah, you already know. That's exactly what it is. And Angela put it here back in 8:34. I'm super late. Y'all like, oh, we had that inspiration 2 hours ago, Nate. Where you at? Clue Magic writes, I wonder how much. Now, did that come out in the trial? Probably not. Clue Magic writes, I wonder how much of a kickback did the figurehead of ergon or Negro get to help sell out his people? This is an example of that me before we drop talks about. That's exactly what it is. And there's a lot of that in the city of Cincinnati. That's what keeps black people in place. It's the we before me in Cincinnati. Or should I say retards black people's growth? You know what I'm saying? Kinda. The other thing is that you got a lot of silos in Cincinnati. You know what that means? In black Cincinnati as well. Mason Marler writes, I wonder if Corey Jordan knew he was Doug Evans, African-American over there working for Evans Landscape. That is hilarious. Exactly, Angela. Evans said, I'm a still bid for minority companies using the name Negro. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And it worked. Pardon me. Clearing my throat right there in your ear. Kermit writes, good morning, Choppers and Nathan. Put your best foot forward. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. 3CDC acquired the Macy's property for the Lolo and will no doubt develop it using grants, abatements, and such. Right. Prime location. Prime locations. He should be banned from receiving contracts. I agree. He should be. Nikki Haley is a female drop. Is that right? Drop writes Andrew Gillum. Thank you so much, Drop. I appreciate it. Appreciate that. You're right. Nate, have you reached out to Dwight Tillery about joining Sin Digital? I have not. It only recently came to my attention that Dwight Tillery was no longer doing this show on commercial radio. And I did not know that. I mean, I was like a month late on that one. And but I will be down with that. Dwight's got a great flow. I will be down with that. Kermit writes, Chief Isaac will address low water pressure in Avondale. So your house may burn down. Will the city fix the city problem? Wait. Will the city fix the problem, not the city problem? Hold on here. We got a caller on the line here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate.
Hey, what's going on, Brother Forte?
I'm hanging in there, brother. As usual, on all the good topics with the choppers.
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah.
I want to bring back one up that you just talked about the Saudi Arabian down in Florida.
Yeah.
I want you to understand that I'm an Ohioan and I can't go into Kentucky and buy a handgun. You have to live in that state. Now, you might be able to buy a rifle or a shotgun, but state to state, you must have a license for that state. So Florida, being as backwards as it is, the guy brought a hunting license, and then it qualified him to buy a handgun. Secondly, imagine when he's in that $40, $50 million airplane that he's flying around Florida, if he decided to crash it into one of our buildings. So once again, we got a loophole in our government where we're making ourselves vulnerable. You know, the Saudis are supposed to be our allies, but 15 of them was of the 19 people that crashed into the buildings on 911. So think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm. That's a point that people don't like to make anymore. You're absolutely right about that,
well,
Forte.
Yeah, so he's flying around in, our supersonic fighter planes on the coast of Florida. And if he had this in his heart, thank God he didn't wait another 6 months till he was flying one of them deadly machines and decided to take out some Americans. Think about that. So I guess now when they flying, we'll have to keep a superior plane in the sky with them in case they do something stupid. We can just shoot them out the sky.
Do you think the foreigners should be able to buy guns in America?
No. I guarantee you we're not going to Saudi Arabia or any Arab country and buying a weapon. It's just not going to happen. And us being Americans, state to state, theoretically, you can't buy a handgun unless you buy it in your state. So I don't know how this guy got through there. They say he found the loophole. And one other thing I want to hit on, I know you towards the end of the show, the tragedy with the little boy from Carson Elementary. Two things that bothers me. One, the bullying issue, I get it. And I know that an 8-year-old with the knowledge to hang himself is baffling to me. I could think of an accident where a kid could do that, but to purposely do it, once again, how are we watching our kids? What information they getting off the social network? I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And, it happened at home. So, God bless the parent because they lost their child. But, I mean, what's going on in your household? You home in another room and this happens in his room. So nobody wants to address that. We focusing on the kid was being bullied and he was so stressed out that he did this to himself. I mean, I couldn't even think. I mean, I got a lot of 8-year-olds in my family. We lost one by a car ran up on the sidewalk and hit him, blowed us away. I can't imagine him, doing that to himself. I'm shocked about that since it happened.
And I'm concerned about the ramifications for CPS parents because, for me, the question I put out there is what's best for the kids. Is it better for the kids for the district to not be liable legally, or is it better for the kids that the district is liable legally for these kind of situations in terms of communicating with parents?
Well, if they liable of anything, it would be if they didn't report it properly and the authorities didn't deal with the bullying issue. That's one thing. But to be honest with you, 37,000 kids in our school district. This isn't the first kid to do that unfortunate deed, but he's the youngest one to my knowledge for sure, in our district.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to hold the whole district accountable for 37,000 kids when somebody decides to do something erratic like that. I don't know.
Well, no, that's not what it is, Forte. No, what it is the administrators did not communicate to the mother what was going on.
Right.
They told her that the boy fainted, but didn't tell her the circumstances as to how he was fainted. And so the mother's like, well, damn, I'm operating at an information deficit. I don't even know what's going on at the school. You're not telling me. So the liability is that. Do you have a legal responsibility to inform parents as to what's going on with their kids when you have these kind of emergent situations?
I would think so.
I would think so too. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And if you don't, how can we trust you?
Yeah.
If you can just do what you want to do.
I know you do this with your kids, and I did it with mine. Every day that they came home from school, I had a conversation with them about how was your day? What's going on?
True.
Okay? And if something dynamic's happening, then my kid should tell me because I'm giving him or her that opportunity every day. Mm-hmm. My wife and I, every day we did that with our kids.
That's dinner time.
I got a special needs daughter, and we asked her that every day when she was in school.
Yeah, I get it. That's dinner time. That's first when you pick them up in the car, when they walk in the door. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, so as parents, we got to be a little bit responsible too.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. But, man, you was on some good topics today, man. You got to call me up one day about this police thing.
Okay.
I mean, you mentioned that them boys got their payback.
Yeah, they did.
The N-word boys.
Yeah, they did. They did. Or the arbitrator said they should get back pay.
Well, the Caucasian officer had already been punished. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they got themselves caught up in double jeopardy with him. He had been wrote up. He had been counseled. And then, I know the chief personally. I know most of the command staff. I don't understand why they got caught up in that vacuum that we're going to go back and punish a person a second time when they already been punished. So they sort of, they was playing checkers and not chess on that one. It was no doubt in my mind he was going to get his back pay. No doubt in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Just because of the fact that he had already been punished, is what you're saying? Right.
Exactly.
I can understand that.
Exactly.
I can understand
they opened up Pandora's box, And then when the brother said it, I don't care what anybody say. Every culture is certain things within your culture you could say. Without your culture, you shouldn't say. I'm not a big N-word guy. I try to keep it out of my mouth. But I could take it one way from a black guy, and I'm going to take it totally another way from a Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way I look at it.
Or even the way the black guy's using it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's just different ways, circumstances, and context. So I get it.
Yeah. So, hey, man, it's a good field, but we need good people. You've been saying that for the last week or so. If you're going to get in there, you got to be good. You got to be strong. You got to do your job. And you got to look out for the people who are being abused. I'm laughing at Bloomberg, big supporter of stop and frisk. Now you want to be president.
Right.
So people putting it in your face, and now you apologize. Well, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands were affected by that policy. Hundreds of thousands. And when they were complaining, Bloomberg said back and said it was a good policy. So, he got too much money and too much time on his hands. We don't need a second New Yorker in there. We see what the first one did.
Right.
Yeah,
that's too much for me and Bloomberg.
To operate their damn businesses and leave the government alone.
I agree. That's a bridge too far with me with Bloomberg and stop and frisk. He just can't say I apologize and I know better. He knew better then. He just didn't give a damn.
Yeah, he knew better. He's anti-gun, but everywhere he go, he got 4 to 8 armed men with him. I get a kick out of that. You're anti-gun, but everywhere you go, you got literally highly trained mercenaries protecting you because you're an industrialist, right? but they don't want Mr. Ivy and Mr. Forte to have guns to protect ourselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't afford a team of elite warriors to follow me and my family around.
Must be nice. I wonder what that feel like.
Yeah. Well, believe me, in the debates, they're going to kick him all in his gonads on that one. And they like, well, you don't believe in guns, dude, but everywhere you go, you got armed men with you. So I'm trying to figure that one out, But he didn't start stop and frisk. He just didn't stop it.
Okay.
Giuliani started it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Giuliani started it. And when he got in there, the minority community came to him and asked him to take it away, and he didn't do it. So, 98% of the people challenged were minorities, and 98% of them didn't do anything wrong. So think about that. And, this clown, Mr. Grump, wanted to do it over the whole country. Number 45, he wanted to stop and frisk in all 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, some states like Ohio said, no, we're not doing that here. So, it is what it is. You're going to need your papers like Germany in a minute. They're going to pull you over. Papers. I'm talking about walking. Obviously, driving, you need your license. So I don't know, brother, man. But Ohio, they getting a step closer to conceal carry without a permit, too.
Yeah, they certainly are. And what's your take? They say, will it make the streets safer?
Well, no, it's not going to make the streets safer, but I'll stick to this analogy. You need a driving license to drive a car because an automobile is dangerous and sophisticated. So if, I understand everybody got a right to carry guns. I have no problem with it. Open carry or concealed carry. But if you don't want a lot of accidents happening, people need to be trained in the safety of weapons. It's that simple. I don't care if it's a 1 or 2 hour course. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I got adult children. I done brought them guns, but you better believe they was trained up before I gave them to them. Does that make sense?
I follow.
Yeah, I didn't just go out there and say, hey, here's a 9mm to protect yourself. I trained them up on the safety. I trained them up on the laws. I trained them up on the barbecue Becky situations of the world. I love saying that. Because if you black and you carrying a gun in America, you in a whole nother zip code. I don't give. If I told you when I took the uniform off, my whole career, I was never comfortable carrying my gun CCW. Because I understand how some of these officers will overreact. You know, so it's deep. But it don't matter to me. You know, we have people from Kentucky and Indiana come take our course because they got the good sense to know that they need to know the safety and the proper handling of guns. It's not that they need the license, they need the knowledge. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's where we at, man. But just hang in there, brother. I want to get to you. We've been busy. And I'm sending you information. There's some good deals out there right now. I got to just sit down and send it to you, and I'll make your move, okay?
Okay. I appreciate it, man. All right, Forte, take it easy.
All right, brother.
Yeah, that's
all right, happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you.
Thing.
That's Forte, ride or die. Good folks over there, ride or die. And I agree with the knowledge. I still remember everything I was taught. And I thought that everything that I learned through that CCW class was valuable information. You know what I'm saying? Forte, former Cincinnati police officer, he was talking about numerous things, including he thinks that he wasn't surprised to see that a Cincinnati police officer got his back pay back because it was sort of like a double jeopardy type of thing in his opinion. There's been a lot of conversation about that. The brother officer used the N-word and was suspended and went to arbitration and got it back. And is there anything that the mayor or city council can do about that in terms of changing policy if they had the will to do so? Who sets that agenda? I'd like to know. I'm still here, 513-873-7134. Where am I going to go? It's what we do. What we do. Who owns the corporate media? Hey, James Pitts, where'd you get this from, man? This is great. Disney. That Disney Plus is everything to people in my daughter's demographic. She and all her friends are all over Disney Plus. I don't know what the particular brands are, but apparently for her demographic and her liking or whatever, her taste, it's all about Disney Plus. I only bring it up because we also talk about the media. You know, as a member of the media, we talk about media moves, in particular black media moves, and how things will impact, you know, black voices throughout the internet and throughout the world, but in general. And what's happening is, you know, there's too much media consolidation. The politicians have allowed for too much media consolidation when it comes to your cable, when it comes to your radio. That's what the deal is. So you got very few companies that control so many voices. It's true. It's true. I mean, when you think about black voices, I mean, outside of Urban One, I mean, which is like the largest provider of content for black people, outside of that, in terms of like your radio stations, the second one is a distant second one. It's just too much media consolidation. That's why I love digital media. It's a leveler. All right? It's a leveler. Pete Buttigieg says being gay helps him relate to the black struggle. Well, it depends on what kind of gay man he is. Like, if he's one of these gay guys, if he's one of the white gay males who really, really for real identifies with the black struggle and can see the parallels. Because here's the deal. Believe it or not, there are white male racists, white male gay racists. Doesn't that sound an oxymoronic? How you going to be gay and be racist against black people? But it's true. I'm not saying that's Buttigieg, but I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of thing that if you feel, then you should just do things and not say it. If you want people to take it like, oh, this guy is real. You know what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't have to tell us that we can relate because of the struggle. Because the struggle is similar, but the dissimilarities is what everybody focuses on when you try to put those two things together. So, I mean, people keep saying Pete Buttigieg is a smart guy. He's got all this promise. He says a lot of things that make a lot of sense, but it's things like that. Well, I won't say he says a lot of things that make a lot of sense. He has said a couple things that I thought were interesting points that I could agree with. We'll put it that way. What in the hell? Apparently there are some people who are trying to like get Michael Vick to not be a part of the NFL Pro Bowl. Is that right? These are like dog owners. Is this real? Oh my God. Are people still going after Michael Vick after all these years? I mean, if you still got a problem with Michael Vick, you're a racist. Apparently Michael Vick is going to be honored at the Pro Bowl. And thousands of people signed a petition to have a change. Apparently people are still fake mad at him because he was fighting dogs. And you know what these are? These are dog owners who were probably bullied when they were kids. And so now they want to hide behind being a dog owner. And really they're mad at the bully that beat them up. But they're going to try to hide behind this and go after Michael Vick to make themselves feel better. I mean, there's people out there that let you push them all around. But if you even do so, you can push them all around. You can kick them. But if you kick their dog, man, they'll turn into a Conan the Barbarian on your ass for their dog. Let me see here. 400,000 people have signed a change.org petition demanding that Michael Vick be removed as an honorary captain of the Pro Bowl. Damn, he can't even be an honorary what? Somebody wrote a book called The Lost Dogs, Michael Vick's Dogs and Their Tale of Rescue and Redemption. Jim Gorant. And that's a very interesting name because he should put an I right there. He can be ignorant. Jim Ignorant. An I and an N. That's all we missing. You're telling me somebody wrote a book about the redemption of Michael Vick's dogs? Are you kidding me? And what the hell? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. 422,000 people have signed this. Within the last 45 seconds, 2 people signed this. This is the dumbest thing ever. Whoever wrote this book is a grifter. You talk about trying to capitalize off of pain. This man wrote a book about Michael Vick's rescue dogs. All I can say, my friends, is that we are living in the last days of common sense. That's all. I say it all the time. I'll say it again. What in the hell? Who's got time to sit around? But I guess if you're an author and you're into dogs and you write about dogs anyway, somebody saw an opportunity and ran with it, man. This is amazing. I don't give a damn about Michael Vick and his dogs. He already paid his time. I mean, damn, the brother went to prison. He went from being a millionaire to living in a box. That's not enough for you. They won't be happy until Michael Vick is dead. They won't be happy. Fame writes, if Nathan hooks up with professional Negro Dwight Tillery, my fandom of Nathan ends that day. The local black boule already has an outlet. Tillery is head MFing honcho of them self-serving Negroes. Aside from a few of their nonsensical calls to Nate's show, I really enjoy not dealing with them on Nate's show. Fame writes, this caller is an idiot. The lady who brought up the N-word debate got the black officer effed up. Hills was playing chess, not checkers with her, played her like a flute, but no police in uniform should be using unprofessional language on the job. The N-word use among blacks in a professional setting is still considered racist according to federal courts. Well, I'm glad you got that in, man. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning bright and early. Bright and early at 8 a.m. We'll chop it up. Please share the links if you know anyone who'd like to start a job in law enforcement. We need good, strong people of good moral fiber from our community to represent us in these very critical positions. So please share that. I'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. All right. Remember, this Wednesday, 7 p.m., Cutting Through the Bullshit podcast. You can subscribe right now to that podcast, the audio stream, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can check out the Cut Through the Bullshit Facebook group and also on Sin Digital Media to watch the podcast. That'll be Tuesday at 7 p.m. And as I told you, Adani B this Friday at 12:30 p.m. And also check out the Dope Chicks Collective podcast, all hosted by Black women in progress. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can stream and download that podcast. The Truth to Power podcast, hosted by the NAACP. Again, wherever you listen to podcasts, please please subscribe, and you can download a stream whenever you like to. I'm out. Thank you so much for being here.